It's about Tuesday morning or so, and I got home, oh, about a couple hours ago from my exercises over at the chiropractor's office. Actually, no, it wasn't the chiropractor's. It wasn't an exercise, it was a spinal decompression. So I came home and I had some 10-year-old Highland Park, which went down really quickly, followed by some 16-year-old Lagavulin. 16-year-old Lagavulin, which is actually quite nice. Not quite as good as it used to be, but it's still quite nice. Now, today, I've got something which I think will be my major splurgement of the month. This is a Jura Prophecy. Now, I'm going to have to put on my reading glasses to see this because the print is really small and my eyes are getting weaker and older. The story. In the early 1700s, the Campbells of Jura evicted a wise old seer blessed with the ability to foresee the future. Bristling with resentment, she prophesied that when the last Campbell left the island, he would be one-eyed and all his belongings would be carried in a cart drawn by a white horse. Over time, the story became legend. The legend became myth, and the prophecy drifted from memory until 1938, when Charles Campbell, blind in one eye from the Great War, fell on hard times. It was a cold, unforgiving morning when he and his horse made their way to the old pier for the last time. Taste, meticulously crafted from a selection of the finest and rarest aged Jura single malt whiskies, Prophecy is a profoundly peated spirit. Peat smoke, fresh cinnamon, and spicy sea spray lead the first assault. Finally, the tarry bonfire notes slowly give way to hints of soft licorice and nutmeg. Yeah, it's got a nice picture on the box with the eye on the top. And here, in a world of its own, the Isle of Jura can be found nestled off the west coast of Scotland. It's a place famed for much of its folklore as it is for its whiskey, a magical haven where a sense of solitude pervades. One road, one pub, one community, and one distillery. There is no whiskey and no island quite like Jura. It is truly in a world of its own. Well, I have tasted this before, and that was back at the Whiskey Festival a couple months ago. And I forget what it tastes like because I tasted so many things on that night. I know that there may be a drop or two of Lagavulin left in my glass. This should make it nice and clean. And this stuff, well, it says it's heavily peated, so hopefully it's as heavily peated as the Lagavulin, if not more. It is the most expensive Jura that I found on the shelf. It is 46% alcohol by volume, which is a good thing. 750 mils. The bottle looks a lot like the bottle of the Superstition. Now, I've had earlier in the last year or so, I've had the Jura Superstition, and before the Superstition, I had the Elixir. I don't know if the Elixir is still being produced, but I know where I can still get some. So I'm looking forward to getting some more Elixir because I liked it a lot. It was a style of whiskey that I like. It was spicy, but it was also, it had a lot of that heather honey and a lot of the well, the things that I like. I'm not a big fan of what you'd call sherry casks, and I can't see myself on this computer screen with these freaking reading glasses on. So I'm gonna go back to my progressives, and there, now I can see clearly. It's crazy, you know. Just so that I can read the fine print on the box, I gotta put these on. Yeah. Something about getting older and craftier, or I don't know about crafty, but treachery, old age and treachery overcome youth and strength, something like that. I'm getting there. I might not quite be there yet, according to some friends of mine, but I'm on my way. This one looks like it's easy to peel off this thing. Grab the top of the foil off. And what do you got? Well, I'll just take this whole foil off. There. Get rid of that crap so it won't affect the taste of the whiskey. This was, like I said, a major splurgement for me because it's the most expensive Jura that I could find. And it's the most expensive whiskey I bought in a while. I think it cost me $140, $150 for this bottle. Canadian with tax included. Something like that. Was it 137, 140? Somewhere in that vicinity. Well, let's just get... Oh. That was a bit of a wet pop. I don't know, did this lean over when it was in the car or something? Maybe. Glug, 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 glug. There, that's a decent sized dram. And the cork has a... See if it pops again. There, that's more like it. I've been getting a couple of wet ones lately. Okay, so there it is, a Jura Prophecy. I've had the Superstition, which is a little weaker. And I've had the Elixir, which I like a lot, which is 12 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe it's an old expression. I should grab some before there's none left on the shelf. This one is supposedly heavily peated with some cinnamon flavor in it. Oh yeah. Dark fruits. I'm getting, it smells almost like a rum. Spicy. Dark fruits like cherries and dates and figs and that kind of thing. I'm not smelling that much peat. Maybe the peat is a subtlety. It says heavily peated, but it's probably not heavily peated like an Isla malt like the one I just had. Oh, this might be a disappointment right away off the bat. Let's see. It does have a spicy dark fruit nose, definitely. Can I pick up anything else? I imagine there might be some sherry influence. Sherry and peat, perhaps. It has more of a nose than the Superstition had. Yeah, definitely sherry, dark fruits. Let's see. It has a strong nose to it. This whiskey is not for the faint of heart. Let's give it a taste. Mm. It's spicy, cinnamon, cherry juice. Along with the cinnamon spice and the cherry juice, I'm not getting a lot of peat. Maybe because I just had some Lagavulin. The peat, if anything, is very subtle. Okay, there's some peat. But if anything, the peat is balanced by the sherry. Intense flavors, intense fruity, intense dark fruits. The 46% alcohol by volume carries the fruity flavors quite well. Heavily peated, really. Well, I'm going to have to try this after, not Lagavulin sometime. It's definitely not as peaty as an Isla. It's almost, compared to an Isla, after I've had an Isla, it's almost like a sherry bomb. There might be a little bit of, there seems to be some kind of, maybe some of it was aged in rum cask. It definitely has a little bit of that sugar caney rum cask. It doesn't say what it was aged in, does it, though? I mean, it's a blend of Jura. Oh, what's this say here on the back? Wait, there's more. Yeah, spicy sea spray. Scotch whiskey, product of Scotland. Return for refund where applicable. Yeah, sea spray. There's somewhat salty. Now I'm reading the label to get suggestions on what I'm supposed to be tasting. That's not correct. But yeah, definitely spicy. And with that spice, there's some of that remembrance, to quote the learnings, some of that remembrance of salt spray. I don't know if this was aged near the sea or if it was aged in a warehouse on the mainland. I couldn't tell you, I don't know. It's definitely got a beautiful nose. With, the likes of, I mentioned it already, figs and prunes and dates, and that kind of thing. Yeah, cinnamon, spice, maybe some salt, some sea spray. Definitely some sherry cask involved. It's quite nicely balanced. Yeah, I didn't waste my money on this. This is good. I shall enjoy it for quite a while. If the last Jura whiskey is anything to go by, I think it took me 6 or 7 months to drink that. I took my time with it, and that was the superstition. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's almost my bedtime, so slancha.
Food Queen. Food quick.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Yeah.